We talked about the title, the origin of the title, the artwork, the sound. So I would like to dive in now into the videos that comes with Devil's Bell. We talked in our previous interview about having roots in the extreme, as Audrey Horne is from Norway, which we know, of course, of the extreme metal scene. And we talked. I watched a video where there was a lot of corpse paint. So I'm wondering, how does it fit the attitude and the melodic heart sound of Audrey Horne?
Well, it was kind of because we released 3 videos for this album, Devil's Macabre and the latest one, Animal, and they were all done by the same guy, which is a guy that I found because I saw the latest ABBA video called Dream Call, and I really liked it because it looked like black metal meets Game of Thrones. Yeah, because it was filmed very beautifully and very majestic in many ways. So I figured out who did that video, and I got in touch with him, and I sent him some songs, and he wanted to do this. So we talked to him and decided we asked him to do 1 video, but we ended up doing 3 videos with him. But the first one, Devil's Bell, has this sort of the corpse paint thing, but it's not really. It's sort of big because there's sort of a small what do you call that? A small nod to Immortal in that video, because when we talked about doing it, we said that he asked us if we had any ideas, and we said, well, we have one idea, which is basically to try to do something like an old Nosferatu movie or something like that, Dracula thing. And then we talked about that, and he came up with some ideas, but not like, because we thought actually to sort of make like this silent movie type of thing, but he wanted to sort of take it more into modern times and well, anyway, and then we decided to shoot it. So we shot it at an old monastery, which is the ruins of an old monastery, which is where Immortal filmed one of their more classic music videos. I can't remember the name of the song right now, but anyway, so we shot it in the same place where Immortal did. It's actually where the Immortal guys grew up. So it's sort of a nod to Immortal and the fact that we're from the same place and from the same sort of music scene and know each other well. So so the corpse paint thing is more. It was more meant to be sort of a guy being brought back from the dead, and we figured that the whole, instead of doing the Nosferatu look, we went for something that looked a bit more like black metal in a way. So it's sort of we have roots from that same scene, but it's more us sort of as a respectful nod to ABBA and to Immortal. But it was a fun movie to do. And then he did the second one, which was more just us playing in the forest, which is actually the forest behind the monastery, because we figured it looked good, so we went there and did a second one there. And then the third one, Animal, is basically me in a studio together with the guy who made the video. And I just bought like a fox at a chill toy store. And I just cut out the eyes and used ash and water to fuck it up. And we just wanted to make something that looked very animalish, you know.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah, and I think he did a great job, editing the whole thing, because it's kind of creepy and but more like werewolf-ish, animalish, So, but I think it's good, and his name is Francesco Numus, and he's done a lot of really, really, really good music videos, and it's a cool guy to work with. Very much an artist, so you sort of have to, we work with photographers and with video directors and people like that, and very often they are artists. So it's not like if you go to the shop and say, "Hey, I want," or if you go to a carpenter, say, I want a chair. Can you build me a chair? I want the chair to look like this. Then they will build you a chair that look like that. But when you go to a more artistic, like photographers and video directors, you say, I want something like this. And then they will say, yes, but it's going to look like this. And I want to do this, because they have like a lot of ideas themselves and they don't want to be controlled. So you sort of have to give them the freedom. Same with when we ask people to make artwork for us or merchandise design, you have to give them freedom, because if you say, I love your style, I want you to do exactly something like this, then it's not going to be as good as if you let them do what they are best at, So
it's like
it's a give and take situation, because as a musician, music video, you want to have certain control, because the music video is a reflection of your music. So if it's too far away from your music, then it feels wrong, So you sort of had to give them the freedom, but then you sort of also have to sort of guide them a bit every now and then, because you need them to sort of click with what we think,
Yeah.
Certainly, I think your videographer artist did a great job. He captured, when I was watching the video, I was like a bit thinking about Dracula, but I think he also captured the song lyrics you had, like it's all about human nature, and you see this theme a little bit in the videos. And Animal, I think Animal is my favorite one, because it's very animal, it's like werewolf and so on. It's a great video that just expresses and bring Audrey Horne to life, Devil's Bell, basically.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about the Animal video was that we did it in a couple of hours, basically. I made a video that fast before. It took a couple of hours of just me bouncing around and being in an animal, basically, and camera, and then he took some hours to edit it, and then it was done, So it was done really, really quickly. But that's, it's the same with when you write music. Sometimes it takes us 3 months to finish a song, because, you try out, and then sometimes you write a song in 2 hours, basically.
Yeah.
You just like, that's it. That's all we need. It's good. It's perfect, So sometimes things just feels right.
Click.
Yeah, they click, basically.
Depends on the moment. You can write an album in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did the video in 2 hours. So let's play a game now. Like I will tell you a song, the new songs from the album, and you tell me in one word, describe or feeling. Okay, Toschie?
I describe a feeling.
Describe or feeling, like you give me one word.
Okay.
So, aces to aces.
I want to say speed or rush. Even though it's not a really fast song, it sort of gives me a rush, and I've seen a lot of people describe that song as like a mid-tempo song, but to me, it's sort of it rushes in a way. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's it.
One word.
Okay, sorry, one word.
No worries. Animal.
Lust.
Breakout.
Violence.
Ah, nice. Okay. Return to Grave Valley.
Joy.
Danse Macabre.
Jealousy.
Devil's Bell.
Fear.
All is Lost.
Desperation.
Toxic Twins.
What's it called? Intoxication. Drunk.
From Darkness.
Floating.
Cool. Very nice.
So
Thank
many
you, thank you.
so many feelings in this album.
Yes.
I need to release this, sit down and see if I feel the same as Toschie or something else.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you described each song with one word, and I would like to dive into a few songs. So I'm wondering about Danse Macabre, because there is a song, I don't know if you're familiar with Cost, that has this song as well. So I'm wondering how this Danse Macabre came to life.
Well, do you mean the lyrics or the whole song, basically?
The name of the song.
Oh, the name of the song. Well, basically, because when I wrote the lyrics for the chorus, it says "Dance with me, death will lead, and we will follow. Dance with me until your love for me grows cold and dies." So it's a song about jealousy, and I felt like with jealousy, it's sort of a feeling that it's not something you are. I guess some people are more jealous than others, but mostly it's something you become because of your surroundings, because of situations around you. Normally, like some people are just jealous at everything, but that's probably rooted in some other mental issues or self-consciousness. But in general, you become, like, I've been jealous, like everyone has been jealous, but I'm not a very jealous person normally. So jealous is something you become because of the actions of other people around you. You can be jealous at a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or you can be jealous at someone's success or whatever. But it's something that you become. So to me, that was sort of the dance thing fitted, because it's sort of, you lead when you dance, you one person leads, and you sort of you get where they take you, you have to go, if you know what I mean. So to me, that was sort of a good for me, a good way to describe how jealousy works. Somebody just leads you there, like in a dance. So when I was going to come up with a title for the album, I looked at the lyrics and because often I see, is there something like Devil's Bell? Then Devil's Bell, you call it Devil's Bell, but some songs doesn't have like necessarily something from the lyric as a name. So I looked at like Dance With Me or Death Will Lead, but it didn't sound very good. And then I thought, Dance of Death. And I thought Danse Macabre, which is sort of a known saying, which is a French saying of the Dance of Death. And I just liked that. And I knew that Ghost had a song called
Danse Macabre, yeah.
So I figured, let's use it, but let's do the whole thing in French, So dance is I used the French version of dance as well. So it was basically because I found that I knew that it's already been used, but it's like with Blackout, it has been used. Like a lot of our titles has been used because there's so many songs and there's so many words out there. Sorry?
Scorpions.
Ashes to Ashes. Yeah.
No, Blackout, Scorpions.
And Ashes to Ashes, which is...
Yes, yeah. And Dance of Death by Iron Maiden.
Including David Bowie, So that's basically where the song title came from.
It's an amazing story. It's interesting, and I think, like you said, like an artist. Well, basically, what we talked about, an artist can express things and so on, and you just like gave a feeling and a meaning to Danse Macabre. It's amazing how a song with the same name basically can be different, have a different meaning. I think it's a great way to reuse certain words for the music and give your own twist, identity.
Yeah, the whole lyric on that is basically about the feeling of what jealousy does to you, basically. It sort of controls you and makes you into a person that you really don't want to be, but
and for this interesting story, the Danse Macabre of Audrey Horne is my favorite one now, because it has such a nice story about jealousy and a very well told meaning. So thank you, Toschie, for sharing your thoughts how Danse Macabre was created. Any other songs that you would like to mention, how they came to be, how the title came to be?
Pick one, I'll tell you.
It's like I had Animal, but we talked so much about Animal, so let's go with a popular one, as it is a Scorpion one, Ashes to Ashes.
Ashes to Ashes. Well, that song is sort of that's sort of the same thing. It was when I wrote that lyrics, I tried to sort of it's very much like Danse Macabre, because in both songs I try to sort of impersonate some darker sides of human nature, and in Danse Macabre it's all about jealousy, but in Ashes to Ashes it's more about various like darker sides of us, and I try to sort of personate by saying that I'm the poison laced in your pen, I'm paranoia, I'm fear, I try to sort of I am all these feelings, and in the chorus it's I am a necessary evil, basically, I think, which is sort of my way of saying that like I said, that we're not just good or bad, we're a bit of both. So you are who you are because of your good sides and your bad sides, so it's in many ways it's sort of a necessary evil in terms of making you who you are as a person, and and I don't know, like Ashes to Ashes, it just when I sang it, I just sang it basically in front of Thomas, our guitar player. And he said, I like that. It sounds good. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Which is sort of very often used in funerals when you bury someone, So to me, that was sort of it could fit in because it would sort of who we are as a person from we're born until we die. You go through various of stages, and on that journey you are good in some situations and you're not so good in other situations. So when we were looking for a title for that, Thomas was just said to me that it has to be Ashes to Ashes. And I said that, well, it's a very, it's been used not just by David Bowie, it's been used by different bands, and artists. Yeah. So like, well, fuck that. It sounds good. Let's call the song. I was like, yeah, I agree. It's like I said, it's the same thing with song titles. I think song titles should have a catchy name, not necessarily for people to remember it, but more like I said, it dresses up the song. It's sort of what give you the look of a song, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, certainly. Like, I think Audrey Horne is really strong on it. Like, every song has, like you said, dress up. So great story. You gave another depth to another great song.
Thank you.
Cool. Any song, Toschie, that was difficult, hard,
Difficult one from me at least was the one called All Is Lost, because Oliver wrote the music for that and he sent it to me, and I listened to it and I was like, okay, I'll make melody line. I'll make a song out of this. So I sang on it, and I came up with melody lines. I sent it back to him, and he was just like, no. I was like, okay, fair enough. He didn't like it. Cool. I'll make another one. And I just kept doing that. And everything I sent to him was like, nah. He just kept turning me. At the end, I was like, what the fuck, dude? What do you want from me? I said, I don't think I can come up with a better melody line than any of those I've already done, because I've tried everything to come up with. And then he said to me, well, maybe you shouldn't think so much in melody lines. Maybe you should think more as a storyteller. And when he said that, I thought it clicked in my head. I understood what he meant. So I sat down and I wrote my favorite lyric on this album is definitely All Is Lost, because it makes no fucking sense. But I was just trying to, when he said storytelling, I said, okay, if I'm going to tell a story, it has to be a good story, or it has to be an interesting story at least. And then I thought of if you're in a bar, because I experienced that, if you're in a bar and someone comes in and decides to sit down at your table and you don't know them, but you immediately understand that this person is not right in the head. They can be like schizophrenic or psychopathic or whatever, and then the whole conversation becomes difficult because you have to sort of be one step ahead and analyze how you are supposed to respond, because the way you respond might end in them buying you a beer, or it can end up with them stabbing you in the face with a knife, So you sort of have to be on your analyze the situation all the time. So I sort of made two verses with two different characters, one man and one woman. And I figured if they're going to come in and tell a story, and the story, if they are crazy, then the story has to be crazy. So basically, I just wrote a story that doesn't make sense in a way. It's just like words they mumble and crazy man's rambling, basically, or a crazy woman's rambling. So, and that was a bit challenging because I haven't written like melody lines in that way before, and I haven't written lyrics in that way before. So to me, it was sort of challenging. And also when I recorded it, because Albert was pushing me quite a lot and saying that, you know, if you're singing about crazy people that you sort of freaks you out, then you have to sort of become that crazy. You have to sort of sound as if you mean what you're saying. You know?
To act like crazy.
Yeah. So that was pretty challenging, but it was fun at the same time.
I believe that.
I singing a song in the studio a lot because I sort of had to go a bit outside my comfort zone to do it. Yeah.
Great one. Great story again.
All right.
The live show, what is important for you to be a good show? Like from venue, from crowd, from sound? What is the important thing when you go to a venue?
That important because, I mean, if you're a good band, the crowd and the venue shouldn't be important. You should be able to do your thing no matter, you know, we've done some, I remember we did on one of our earliest tours, we were in Germany and we played a place that had like a, I don't know, 500, 600, 700 capacity, and there were probably 15 people. So we just took everything down on the floor and played in the audience. Because it was a huge and
private.
We gave them a great show, and the cool thing is that like 10, 15 years later, people still come up and like, I was at that show and that's one of the best shows I've seen, you know, which is to us is a compliment because it means that we sort of managed to give them a great show without being distracted by the disappointing surroundings.
Yeah.
You know? So to us,
that is good.
But of course, if the venue is good and the crowd is good, it's easier. Then it might be better, you know. But to us, the important thing about a live show is basically that you sort of need to make the band and the audience sort of come together.
One.
Here's the band, there's the audience, we play, you applaud, you know. So sort of try to interact with them and sort of make them be part of the show, which makes it more interesting for them, but it also makes it a lot more interesting for us, you know. And of course, a lot of the playing, you know, when Alvin Thomas goes into the crowd and plays guitar in the crowd, of course, our playing is not going to be perfect because it's hard to, you know, if you stand on stage playing like this, or if you're in the crowd or up there, it's not easy to play perfect twin solos. So, but to us, that's not so important, you know, whether we play perfect, you know, as long as the energy and sort of the experience for people is that, and that's basically that's the most important things with our live show is that the unity between audience and band.
Yeah, certainly agree. For me, like, I remember you played a good show, but I especially remember the engagement, dancing with the crowd, having a good crack. That's what I especially think fondly of seeing an Audrey Horne, and what I'm looking forward when I go to gig. Like, Because if you listen to a band, you will hear the perfect sound because you are having the perfect mix, but like in a venue, it's not always the case.
That's like something Alva and Thomas has been, been drinking a bit too much, and they're going off, and I on stage, and I like it doesn't sound very good today, and then you walk, and I'm about to tell Thomas that your playing today wasn't quite as good as it should have been, but before I get to that, someone comes up and says, "That's the best guitar playing I've ever seen," and then because they've had that experience that you say, if you have an amazing experience watching a band live, then what you hear is amazing too, even though it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, your eyes are misguiding you. You're just having crack and so.
Yeah, that is really hard work to keep your energy when you see 15 people around. When you go to venue like 600 and you have the same energy as you play for 1,000 people.
Yeah, but you just have to sort of think that these 15 people paid for a ticket.
Yeah.
In the same way. There's no reason they should be like, okay, fuck it, let's just play the songs and leave, because then they would go home and say that Audrey Horne, that was crap, we don't want that. We want people to go home and say that was fucking awesome,
Yeah. Amazing. So speaking about shows, well, Devil's album is out. There isn't a tour yet scheduled, but when you are going to tour, how is going to the set list of Devil's Bell going to look like?
The set list, I think, like every time we sort of make an album like that, of course we want to put as much as possible of the newer songs in, but then you sort of have to have the songs that people want to hear. So you sort of had to put that on as well. So it will be a combination of the new album and like the more classic Audrey Horne songs.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'm up to it.
Yes.
Good.
We look forward to see you live. Maybe here also someday.
Definitely.
Cool.
Thank you, Toschie, for the great crack tonight and telling us about in detail about Devil's Bell. We learned quite a lot about how the sound can be, how the videos were created, the illustration, and there is a lot to think of before we are writing the review. So thank you for telling us this. And we want to thank as well Alnor and Napalm Records and other collaborators for promoting the event. We want to thank everyone who is watching this video, sharing and liking. And for those who are interested in a copy of Devil's Bell, see the links below. Like and subscribe to Metal Galaxy as we have more interesting content coming soon. So I'm giving now the word to Toschie to round up. So,
right. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys, and it's interesting for me to sort of speak in depth about the music because it brings new thoughts to my head as well. So thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Toschie. Thank you. See you.